Hey everyone, and welcome to the Magical Miracle Network. My name is Ruth Perkinson, and I'm so grateful to have our in-house prayer chaplain with us today. Her name is Margaret Porter Daniel, and she is the light of the world. And she's agreed to come on twice a month to do lessons from A Course in Miracles. And so today we are going to do lesson number 71. Margaret, just say hello to everyone.
Hello.
So grateful you're here with me. And truly, you guys, every time Margaret is with us, I feel like I learn something new that I can add to my bastion of information, my spiritual information, as well as the other things that we have in our life, the emotional, the mental, the physical as well. So Margaret, thank you for being back on today.
Yeah,
And
glad
I'm
to be here.
Yes, yes. So anyway, we're going to do lesson number 71. I'm going to kind of just pass it over to you and have you just get started with that.
Okay. Thank you, Ruth.
You're welcome.
This is lesson 71 on page 121 of the workbook. Only God's plan for salvation will work. You may not realize that the ego has set up a plan for salvation in opposition to God's. It is this plan in which you believe. Since it is the opposite of God's, you also believe that to accept God's plan in place of the ego's is to be damned. This sounds preposterous, of course, yet after we have considered just what the ego's plan is, perhaps you will realize that, however preposterous it may be, you do believe in it. The ego's plan for salvation centers around holding grievances. It maintains that if someone else spoke or acted differently, if some external circumstance or event were changed, you would be saved. Thus, the source of salvation is constantly perceived as outside yourself. Each grievance you hold is a declaration and an assertion in which you believe that says, if this were different, I would be saved. The change of mind necessary for salvation is thus demanded of everyone and everything except yourself. The role assigned to your own mind in this plan, then, is simply to determine what, other than itself, must change if you are to be saved. According to this insane plan, any perceived source of salvation is acceptable, provided that it will not work. This ensures that the fruitless search will continue, for the illusion persists that, although this hope has always failed, there is still grounds for hope in other places and in other things. Another person will yet serve better. Another situation will yet offer success. Such is the ego's plan for your salvation. Surely you can see how it is in strict accord with the ego's basic doctrine. Seek, but do not find. For what could more surely guarantee that you will not find salvation than to channelize all your efforts and searching for it where it is not? Oh my gosh, I have had that feeling so many times. Like, this is going nowhere.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like the ego loves to spin the wheels, right?
Right. So long as it's spinning the wheels, you're distracted. And if you're distracted, you're really not going to get to know who you really are.
Yeah.
Who you truly are. And of course, we're in a world that wants to deny that completely. Like, it's not cool to be kind. It's
Right.
not popular to be generous and giving to others that do not have. None of that's like,
Right.
hot stuff to do.
I agree. Yes.
Such is the ego's plan for your salvation. Surely you can see how it is in strict accord with the ego's basic doctrine. Seek but do not find. Yeah, that's the depth of the frustration.
Mhm.
God's plan for salvation works simply because by following his direction, you seek for salvation where it is. But if you are to succeed, as God promises you will, you must be willing to seek there only. Otherwise, your purpose is divided, and you will attempt to follow two plans for salvation that are diametrically opposed in all ways.
Mm.
The result can only bring confusion, misery, and a deep sense of failure and despair. And that's why the mental health industry is so very much in need.
Yes, absolutely. We all need a mental health counselor. We need a guide. I mean, the true guide obviously is the Holy Spirit in every situation. But yes, mental health right now, I think especially right now, I don't know if you feel this way as well, but we really need it for everybody to have some good mental health, you know?
Yes, support, definitely.
Yes.
How can you escape all this? Very simply. The idea for today is the answer. Only God's plan for salvation will work. There can be no real conflict about this because there is no possible alternative to God's plan that will save you. His is the only plan that is certain in its outcome. His is the only plan that must succeed. Let us practice recognizing this certainty today, and let us rejoice that there is an answer to what seems to be a conflict with no resolution possible. All things are possible to God. Salvation must be yours because of his plan, which cannot fail. Begin the two longer practice periods for today. And one of the reasons I'm going to read through the practices is because they're really simple.
Good.
And they're so easy to do. And they're questions you ask yourself anyway.
Yes.
So begin the two longer practice periods for today by thinking about today's idea and realizing that it contains two parts, each making equal contribution to the whole. God's plan for your salvation will work, and other plans will not. Do not allow yourself to become depressed or angry at the second part. It is inherent in the first. And in the first is your full release from all your own insane attempts and mad proposals to free yourself. They have led to depression and anger, but God's plan will succeed. It will lead to release and joy. Remembering this, let us devote the remainder of the extended practice periods to asking God to reveal his plan to us. Ask him very specifically, what would you have me do? Where would you have me go? What would you have me say, and to whom? Give him full charge of the rest of the practice period, and let him tell you what needs to be done by you in his plan for your salvation. He will answer in proportion to your willingness to hear his voice. Refuse not to hear. The very fact that you are doing the exercise proves that you have some willingness to listen. This is enough to establish your claim to God's answer. It's that simple. That simple. Of course,
Yeah.
we'll
Is that the end of the lesson?
No, just got
Okay.
one more paragraph.
Okay. Yeah.
Give him full. What, Ruth?
No, keep going. I'm listening.
Okay. Give him full charge of the rest of the practice period, and let him tell you what needs to be done by you in his plan for your salvation. He will answer in proportion to your willingness to hear his voice. Refuse not to hear. The very fact that you are doing this exercise proves that you have some willingness to listen. I read that already, but I think it's really important.
Well, I think, yeah, so repetition is the mother of skill. Let's just call it what it is.
Yes.
Especially in the Course of Miracles.
All right.
Repetition is the mother
In
of
the
skill.
shorter practice periods, tell yourself often that God's plan for salvation and only His will work. Be alert to all temptation to hold grievances today and respond to them with this form of today's idea. Holding grievances is the opposite of God's plan for salvation, and only His plan will work. Try to remember today's idea some 6 or 7 times an hour. There could be no better way to spend a half minute or less than to remember the source of your salvation and to see it where it is. That's so sweet.
So sweet. It is so sweet. Now, that's the full lesson, right? That right
Yep.
there. Yeah,
That's
that's amazing. 6 or 7 times an hour. I mean, yes, that's really cool, because holding grievances is an attack on God's plan for salvation. I think that might be another lesson near there.
It is. It's an earlier one.
Yeah.
And maybe next time we'll do that one. So there's a better definition of what a grievance is. But I can tell you.
Go for it. Give us an example of a grievance.
A grievance is blaming everything and everybody outside of you for your problems.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Simple, 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 right?
Yeah. If you're not where you want to be in your life and you're blaming this person and that person in that situation, you're not looking at yourself.
Exactly.
You're the only one that can solve it.
Exactly. Say that one more time.
Which part?
I'm glad we're laughing. Basically, I think the energy of it is you're really the only, you have to really rely on yourself.
Yes.
With your connection to spirit, and really trust that you have to take care of yourself and take care of your grievances as they come up. And to really, as you're in the zone of spirit, then you can really look at the grievance with your true self, with your higher self, and then you can clear it with love and true forgiveness and healing, coming from the intention of love and healing and forgiveness. And then according to the Course, this true forgiveness will absolutely cancel out that grievance, not only in this time frame, but in other time frames as well, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Well,
the thing about grievances, they're really based on fear.
Yes.
Fear and doubt of yourself. And there's the little s, S-E-L-F, and then there's the capital S-E-L-F. The capital S-E-L-F is that internal wisdom and confidence that you feel at moments, like, oh, I'm going to get this done. Oh, I'm going to do this. Da, da, da. And
Right.
it gets done well. Everything's cool. And there's things that we find ourselves afraid of. And I am right there in that barrel with everybody else that keep us from trusting our capital S-E-L-F, ourself. And when we're not trusting ourself, then that's when the frustration and the anger and the depression happen. Right,
exactly. I agree with you. I'm in the same barrel with you. It's just sometimes it's just not a barrel of monkeys in this world. We really we really have to take a look at what's, and the grievance is always usually associated with a person, place, or thing, some sort of situation.
Yes.
And I had one earlier. I'll just be honest. I something that happened, the last 6, 7, 8 months. I just, for some reason, my mind went back there to that place, to that being, this friend of mine, old friend of mine. And I love him, but there was a grievance that came up. So I was like, okay. So for me, I knew class was in session. I was like, okay, class is in session. I need to absolutely look at my brother, and that's who he is. He's my brother. And I'm not going to condemn him for this. I'm going to absolutely clear this grievance, whatever I'm holding against him. And that is an attack on God's plan for salvation. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
And so what I think Yeshua, Jesus wants us to do is to get back into that zone of spirit and be able to look at that and to clear it in your mind, because the thought, as we know, comes first. And
Right.
I think in the world of
Right.
form, we forget that. We forget that the thought comes first. And we think we have to do something, right? And he talks about that in that lesson. We've got to go and, fix this out here, and whatever. But it really is all about the mind. It really is a course in
Right.
mind training. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's where the healing begins in the mind.
Yeah. It's all mental, right? It's all.
Well, the allopathic system, it was even referred to in A Course in Miracles as magic.
Yes.
Because you believe that pill will change that aspect in your mind, and it's like conditioned throughout the society that this is how it works and this is what it will do. And you know what? I still use the allopathic system because I'm still there, and it's okay.
Exactly.
And so it's not something you can just brush away. You can't, because it's part of society too.
Right.
And it's part of how we go about living. So we have to address that as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. He does say, I think it's in the text, if I remember correctly, I think it's on page 24 in the text, where he is talking about taking that compromised approach while we're waking up from the dream of separation, right? To do the allopathic, the Western medicine, and to take the pill or get the whatever you need while you're addressing the grievances in the mind, right?
Right. But there's always a part in me that's going, I know that really it's my mind that's got to change. And that's okay. There's just that little inkling of reminding in my head there.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, it's a great lesson number 71, only God's plan for salvation will work. And we're going to do just a short prayer today. We were talking before we hit the record button about, when we meditate or go into prayer, that it does reverberate out into the sonship, the daughtership, whatever you want to call it, and that really does work. And he talks about prayer as the medium of miracles, which is really shifting our mind from the ego's plan for salvation to God's plan for salvation. And so when we get into that bliss state, can you just talk a little bit about that, about how that works? You did such a good job before we hit the record button. I just want to go back there.
See if I can do it again. Yeah, the bliss state, it's a very natural state. It's what our true nature is. And when we're like very relaxed and at ease and comfortable in our bodies and with our personalities and our nature, and there's no judgment there's no pressure or sense of urgency, then that whole restriction that happens as you function in the world just dissolves. It's not there, and you realize that you're not that either. And the important way I find for me, and I can't say that I'm in the bliss state, but let's just say I'm very peaceful. And I think that is a good definition.
Yes.
But it's the breathing. And when we start to watch the breathing and control aspects of the breathing and pay attention to what the breath is doing and what it is, then that takes us out of the parasympathetic mode of fright and flight physiologically, and it puts us in the sympathetic mode of relaxation, of no stress, letting go. And that's just a huge help in my process. So that's why I always start any prayer, any meditation, always starts with breathing, always.
Yeah, I agree with you. It really does get you in the zone. Because we have to remember that we are, this in that perfect oneness, we are in that zone, and that breathing really does help to get you get you there. So I'm just going to go ahead and let you do whatever prayer you want to do for today, just whatever floats your boat. And we know that this is going to work. This is a transmission coming from Margaret Porter Daniel. She's a beautiful prayer chaplain, and we're just going to let her pray here for all of us. Go ahead, Margaret, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Thank you, Ruth. All right, let's take a deep breath, everybody. And hold it. Hold it really hard. Now let it go. And as you let it go, you can just feel your body letting go. You can just feel it moving out. Take another deep breath. Hold, feel the pressure in your lungs in, let go. And just feel everything relax. Now take your next deep breath. And you're breathing in light. And as you breathe in that light, you feel it moving all through your body, through every part of you, into every cell, every atom, every molecule. That light is moving. And now you release that breath just gently, easy. And as you release it, you feel all the stress, all the tension you've been holding go out with the breath. And now breathe in and breathe out and watch it moving in and out. So quietly. Breath is an act of love, of loving. And as you breathe in love, you breathe out light. Breathe in light, breathe out love. And you just feel the peacefulness, the calmness of the body, which eases the mind. It allows the mind to settle. And with your next breath, you want to say so, breathing in, so. Breathing out, hum. So, hum. I am that. I am the divine. So, hum. With your next breath, breathe into your heart space. And feel that wonderful warmth. So loving, so caring. You're breathing into the center of your chest. And it's like a beautiful ball of light right there. And with each breath you breathe into it, it gets brighter and stronger. As you are breathing love into it, into this light, you are feeding your own divinity with love. And as this light begins to expand into your chest, this warmth, this love, this light, it begins to spread throughout your whole body. And it just feels so wonderful, so kind, so good. That is you. That is what we are. Love eternal, light eternal. And as we breathe this knowing, we feel the peace and the quiet that comes with it. And we are grateful, so thankful for these bodies that carry us in the world, across the sea of samskara. They're like boats. In the world all around us, the phenomenal world, busy, loud, active, alive, beautiful and terrifying all at the same time. It is all God. It is all remarkable. And beautiful. How can you hold a grievance here? How can you blame something, somebody else, someone? How can you blame an event? It's all the unfolding. The divine plan. How remarkable. How amazing. How beautiful. And I will suffer and I will feel pain. I'll feel all those things. I'll feel fear. I will feel them. But I do not hold them. For I hold no grievances. I only hold this light, this beautiful light that is in this body. That is seeing this dream. I am divine. I am holy. I belong only to God, only to creation, the Creator. I am Brahman. Beautiful, sublime, profound. And I am grateful for this great journey. The journey home. Right here, right now. And so it is. We lay at the holy lotus feet of our beloved Swami, Sri Satya Sai Baba. We lay at the holy, glorious feet of our elevated brother, Yeshua. We lay at the holy, glorious feet of this world and beyond. May we do what you've called us to do, beloved. Say what you call us to say, beloved. Be with those you need us to be with, beloved. And we thank you. Sairam.
Oh, thank you so much, Margaret Porter Daniel. That is an amazing healing prayer for the whole world of time and space. You really know how to pray, and I just really feel this energy right now. This is a true transmission of light and love coming from your heart and mind to all beings out there who may watch this sooner or later. It really doesn't matter. We just know it works. And guys, we really understand that only God's plan for salvation will work. And that's lesson number 71 from A Course in Miracles. And the ego's plan, we're grateful, will not work. And we're really very happy that only God's plan for salvation will work. And that's love, that's kindness, that's forgiveness, that's all of it. And so, Margaret Porter Daniel, thank you so much for being back on again today. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Is there any final word that you'd like to leave us with today before we stop the recording?
Just remember that grievance is based on judgment.
Absolutely. All grievances are based on judgment. Exactly. And it really is an attack. And so we want to just shift out of that and back into love, back into the light. And it's worth it. Really is. It's worth it when you have the willingness to step up to your own plate in your own time, in your own life, and you have the you now have that beautiful willingness to show up for yourself. And then when you do that, you can definitely show up for others. And so thank you for
Yeah.
showing up for all the others out there who will watch this. All right, so just be very patient with me, everyone, as I find the stop button. And I'm going to do that now. Margaret, I'll get the last. Okay, thank you.